Here's some testimony from people who worked in factories at the time. So here's an anonymous rural spinner. We had our wheel and the sun, and we could rest between the spinning. But now the machines run us and they never stop. Another one, William Dodd. He was working in a factory in 1841. So this is, 120 years after the first factory. I had worked at a hand loom weaving in our cottage, but when machines took over, we were forced to the factory. Their labor became faster, colder, and crueler. This was actually said to British Parliament, the next quote. This was 1832. And the person's name was lost to time, but here's what they said. I was a spinner in Mr. Vickerman's factory. Before that, my mother and I spun in the house. We would rise when we liked, and we had time for meals. But in the factory, we worked from 5 in the morning till 9 at night, and we were always in a hurry.
How it all transitioned, this new revolution spark, technological revolution, how it transitioned to 19th century?
Oil. Rock oil. We call it motor oil, but it was rock oil.
Was it scary for people of that time to see those rapid changes in social order and how cities began to look like?
Yeah, it was even scarier the second industrial revolution. So the first industrial revolution is the river and then steam. The second one is when they discover rock oil or oil. And then that oil or gasoline powers other machines, creates electricity. They start to make the trains. The trains traveled at a pace that people weren't used to. There's actually some early art, people trying to paint what it felt like to be on a train, and it's blurry. They're not used to going that fast. Like there's the pace of walking, the pace of a horse, but when you start to get trains, the pace picks up. And we forget what that would have been like moving from slow pace to a fast pace. It was terrifying for people to see these things moving quickly. To take it to the 20th century, we invented a whole new musical style to account for how we felt living in these fast-paced cities. It's called ragtime. It's a precursor to jazz and to rock and roll. And it's this fast-paced music that we're now used to that my grandparents thought was terrible music because it's just too fast-paced and crazy. It's normal for us, but so is the pace of life. I mean, I can hear my mother talking about driving through the city we live in, and it's way different than when she was little. And I think that we're always ramping up the pace. We're always going faster and faster. And every once in a while, the historian or the filmmaker has to sit back and ask, how fast is too fast? When did it get out of hand? Is it out of hand right now? I mean, these are the questions we're confronted with.
I think our brain is not developing or evolving with the same pace as the Industrial Revolution is going, right?
Possibly not, but I see it with students, like even my own children. They don't watch movies anymore. They watch movies, they have their phone going, they're texting their friends, they're Snapchatting while this movie's going on. And if you ask them, just put everything down and watch a movie, they look at you like, huh? It's not enough. It's almost like we never stop adjusting to the stuff we create. And it just makes us busier and busier all the time. And I think we crave it.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, one of my daughters, and she treats it as normal. It's weird that I don't stare at my phone while I'm watching a movie. Because there's just so much going on. And it's true, this generation now, they have a lot of information that they have to process just to get at an idea of something. When I went to school, the teacher told us what we had to learn, we memorized it, we wrote it down on a piece of paper and gave it back to them. But now, I've got things that contradict what my teacher said on this page and things that contradict what I read there on this page, and I have to make sense of it all. So I think the pace of life is ever accelerating, depending on what we're creating, what we're doing. And we've created the internet, we've created AI. Factories we've just accepted those and moved on. The first industrial revolution had two parts. It had the water wheel and then because of the unreliability of rivers, they use coal and steam. So that's the first industrial revolution. Then in the 1830s, 1840s, we find oil. So this is petroleum. This is from the Carboniferous period, buried deep in the earth, turns the plants from that time period into motor oil or oil. They start to drill for it and it comes out. I think Pennsylvania was a place in the United States where oil was found, Texas, Petrolia, Ontario, various places, the Middle East, they find oil and they can run machines using oil instead of steam. It's easier to transport, it's easier to use than coal. And this is the second industrial revolution. This is when electricity is created. This is when automobiles, the internal combustion engine is created. So the first engines are stationary in factories, and then they take the steam engine and they put it on wheels, and you get the first train in the 1830s, 1840s. But when you get the gasoline-powered engine and the diesel-powered engine, then you get a revolution in transportation, personal transportation. You can build automobiles, which is personal mobile. We later call it a car. You get airplanes with the Wright brothers. They can make a small enough, efficient enough engine that can fly in the air. And this is the big change that we see. So cities are built around factories. Well, now with cars, you can drive to wherever you want to go. So if you work here, you can live outside and live in a suburban area. When airplanes happen, you can actually fly from one place to another. So this second industrial revolution takes all the innovation of the first silk mill, in that it's building a machine, but it's powered differently. It's powered more efficiently. They use the machines from here to build the machines that they used in the second industrial revolution. And this is what allows us to just keep innovating, making things smaller, making things better. We're using the machines we make to make machines that will make us machines.
It feels almost like Isaac Asimov plot, like the machines are producing other machines, like robots are making robots. So is it something we are expecting?
We're printing stuff from computers and then taking it out, and we have a usable, functional, whatever you call it. So I think we've reached that area where, machines are making machines, and we can even use AI to help us make things that we then print on printers. So we're at a pretty interesting time. I feel like we're getting close to Star Trek. The Next Generation, they have this machine in the wall, and you can just tell the machine what you want, it makes it, and then you have it. The Captain Jean-Luc Picard, he would ask for Earl Grey tea, hot, and it would be there. And when that happened, when they made that invention that they could just say what they wanted to have, there wasn't as much a need for warfare and for fighting for goods, because they could just print off whatever they wanted.
Jerry, what you just said reminded me one interesting episode from my life. My second master degree is in economics. So I remember one of the first classes and lectures in the university, and the professor actually started with a very interesting statement. He said, if you won't remember anything about the economics, like down the road, remember this. And he just disclosed basically the philosophical definition of economics, which sounded like that. So economics is the science, basically, that researches the behavior of a man under the condition of unlimited demands, but limited resources. And if you think about that, it's just amazing. It explains everything, all competitions, all the wars we had. So we have unlimited demands, but limited resources. So now back to you, Jerry. So what if we finally have unlimited resources? And with the invention and the rise of the factories and the evolvement and progression, I think we are moving towards the unlimited resources, because we have more and more resources around us.
If that were to happen, I'm sure we'd find somebody to fight. I don't even know how to respond to that. Your quote from your master's economics program kind of hit me. If we had unlimited resources, then yeah, we wouldn't have anything to fight for, would we? We wouldn't have to.